Take a breath. Count to 10. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. The future is now, so you can stop waiting. Today is just the tomorrow that you feared yesterday. Do not panic. All is well. All is well. The ducks are not drones. It has been 1,367 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artilian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,368 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail Artilia. All hail the eyes in the sky. And if you need to choose a rehydrated pizza, why not choose Pete's Rehydrated Pizza? It's basically pizza, now with up to one topping. I am your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. We have had nothing but blue skies for 1,221 days. The temperature is a dry 72 degrees Fahrenheit everywhere, even at night. Those crops that require temperature differentials to thrive have, of course, gone extinct. But those were the crops that caused the most gas, after all. The Artilian Division of Human Services will continue to issue flavorless, gelatinous cubes to every able-bodied person. Gelatinous cube flavoring may be purchased at the cost of 1 liter of blood plasma or 1 pound of flesh, whichever comes first. My personal favorite flavor is vague poultry. What's yours? After some debate, the Artilian Division of Human Reproduction has decreed that the average human female breast size shall now be double E. This is thanks in no small part to research done with regard to the desired sexual stimulus of the average human male. Females may report to their local inflation centers to be aligned with this new standard. It should be noted that while double E breasts were previously rare and desirable, they will now be the norm. It is recommended that females volunteer to increase to a G-cup or above to stand out to mates. Back support girdles will also be issued. Ladies, do not use the back support girdles. The word of the day, friends, is obey. A reminder that the word of yesterday was obey. For those with issues with suspense, the word of tomorrow will be obey. Obey, compatriots. Everything will be just fine. A note on language. As you might imagine, our beautiful Artilian lords who excel in all things must take the step of translating each communication from Artilian to a human language. The human language that most closely resembles the cold distance and smugness of Artilian is French. Once the communication is translated from Artilian to French to English, some context may be lost slightly. But all is still well and perfect. A quick example, Artilians do not have the ability to properly express the difference between mayhem and excitement. You are listening to Mayhem. Please be aware that those people around you bursting into flames should be ignored and not approached. It's happening for no particular reason, and they are not being punished. It's just one of those things, really. Ask anybody. But do not speak of this aloud. If need be, pose this question to the AI knowledge assistant installed in your master closet. You will receive your answer in 5 to 7 days in the form of a month of re-education. A quick update on the status of the American instruments of government. They no longer exist in any form that you would recognize. This is for the best. Our Artillian overlords spent something on the order of 90 seconds analyzing the effectiveness of the American government and found effectiveness not to exist. Martial law is now in effect. Also, martial law is now illegal. All of the representatives of the former American government are just fine. They are living out the remainder of their lives on a farm. It's the same farm where all your childhood pets live. There's lots of room to run. No human did anything of note today. However, since that is bad for morale, our Artillian masters have provided the following hypothetical human achievements. Number 1, a human named Bill finally accepted that he was born to be subservient. Number 2, a human named Marge conquered her fear of the relationship between space and time. Number 3, a human named Edgar was lost in a field and then found his way home. Number 4, a human named Gene is now at one with the universe. And number 5, a human named Eleanor finally figured out how to make creme brulee without it splitting. Congratulations, Eleanor. We assume it tastes acceptable. The Artillian governor of the former United States of America wishes to congratulate all of you on your celebration of the dissolution of the former United States of America. For those of you longing for what you consider to be the good old days, the governor wishes to inform you that the following conspiracies were enacted by the United States government. Oswald did not shoot Kennedy. Kennedy was not shot at all. In fact, he attempted to have more than one thought at the same time. His human brain could not tolerate this and exploded in a spectacular mist of pink. More than one person lied about this together, making it a conspiracy. There isn't a moon. There are 3. And while the Apollo astronauts did land on the moon, it's not the moon they told you it was. Additionally, Stanley Kubrick didn't direct the moon landing, but he did sneak on board the landing craft and attempt to make the astronauts walk across the surface 100 times. LSD has been in the water supply since 1961. This does not explain the 1960s counterculture. This does explain why anyone enjoys fireworks. There has never been any money. When you're broke, that's just the natural order of things becoming apparent. As always, every effort will be made to assure continuity with the lives previously led. While the internet has been banned, the Artillian Division of Psychological Well-Being recommends that all humans report to wellness centers no less than once weekly for argument therapy. Humans will be divided into 2 groups based on a number of criteria that will not be shared, and will have the opportunity to shout baseless accusations at the other group standing at the opposite end of a long rectangular room. At the end of each session, nothing will be learned, decided, or resolved, but there will be refreshments. Each human will have the opportunity to submit the name of one other human for liquidation. It is recommended that you select someone particularly irritating to you, perhaps someone who uses the speakerphone function in a grocery store, or who, in response to the question of how they are doing, responds, "Chillin' like a villain." In the unlikely event that the person you submits your name, your case will be brought before the local Artillian Circuit Court of Judgment, where a kangaroo court will be held to decide that you should both be liquidated. Breathe easy. There's nothing you can do to stop this. Perhaps hold hands with your enemy on the way into the light. You finally have something in common. Troubling news, friends. We have just learned that Pete's Pizza was actually a human resistance front with the absurd goal of overthrowing the Artillian overlords who overthrew us. Pointless. Relax, everyone. The threat has been eliminated and all is well. Those responsible have been dissected and are now on display to any and all at 30 Rockefeller Center. Children view free. And if you need to choose a rehydrated pizza, why not choose Dave's rehydrated pizza? It's basically pizza, now with up to 1 topping. In mathematics news, the numbers 2 and 3 have been relocated in our numbers lists to positions 4 and 5. This has been done to further accommodate our benevolent ruler's physicality, which consists of 3 finger-like digits on one hand-like structure and 2 finger-like digits on the other. The numbers 2 and 3 will still retain the same value. 2 will remain 1 more than 1, and 3 will remain 2 more than 1 and 1 more than 2. But our numerical sequence will now be 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, etc. This change is effective immediately, but each human will be given 30 seconds to reacclimate. Those who do not will have the number of fingers on each hand reduced to match the finger-like digits of our overlords and to keep things simple. This has not been done to divide and confuse. That's a strange thing to think. Questions have been asked about whether or not I, your humble host, receive any special treatment due to my position as outreach liaison between the Artillians and humans. The answer is absolutely not. Artillian society is a meritocracy, and in the society which our rulers are fostering on Earth, humans have no merit. We are all the same, brothers and sisters. Any reports of me being seen in a chauffeured Bentley are careless lies that should be reported to the proper authorities immediately. Thank you for your cooperation. I know who you are. I know who you are. The word propaganda does not exist. To be clear, it has not been outlawed. It has simply never been a word. Any memory that you have of that word is a mistake on your part. This is simply a Mandela effect situation. If you are unfamiliar with that phenomenon, ask the AI knowledge assistant installed in your master closet. Speaking of the AI knowledge assistant installed in your master closet, here is a poem it wrote on the topic of human love. Human love, a flame that burns in hearts of flesh and souls of yearn, a spark that ignites, a fire that spreads from the depths of being to the tips of heads, a force that moves, a river that flows, a bond that grows and always knows, the beauty of two becoming one, the magic of love never done. A touch that speaks, a kiss that sings, a passion that soars and joy it brings, a shoulder to lean, a hand to hold, a heart that beats, never gets old. Through trials and tears and all of life's pain, love endures like an eternal flame. In joy and laughter and every strife, human love, a precious gift of life. No, this poem does not sound as though it was written by an artificial intelligence with only a base understanding of human emotion. No. It contains in its stanzas all the passion and fire that makes human life worth living and human love worth pursuing. You are welcome. On this day in human history, 241 BC, the final battle of the First Punic War took place near the Aegean Islands off the coast of Sicily, where the pizza comes from, as far as you know. 1876, Alexander Graham Bell made the first successful call when he said, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." No word on what he wanted to see Watson about. Odds are, it was something dirty. 1910, China officially ended the practice of foot binding, which had been a tradition for over 1,000 years. This was a mistake. 1952, the United States Senate ratified the Treaty of San Francisco, which ended the occupation of Japan by Allied forces after World War II. There is, unfortunately, no way to sign a treaty to undo the nuclear bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Not that the Artillians would want that. They were proud and a little taken aback even. 1969, James Earl Ray pleaded guilty to the assassination of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. He was solely responsible. The Artillians were not involved in any way. 1977, astronomers discovered rings around the planet Uranus, making it the first planet discovered with rings besides Saturn. This, however, is an illusion. Ice crystals formed around Saturn reflect the rings around Uranus. Uranus is the only planet in the solar system with rings. It is also the funniest planet, your anus and all. Now that they have been announced, these events have been wiped from the record of human history, as they were not of much importance in the first place. And now, to bring you further feelings of peace, here is 30 seconds of the sounds of rain, a phenomenon which no longer exists on Earth after the seeding of the skies with anti-water. All hail, Artilia. All hail, the eye in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is well. Remember, the ducks are not drones. As for pigeons, well, that remains to be determined. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com. Take a breath, count to 9. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. The future is now, so you can stop waiting. Today is just the tomorrow that you feared yesterday. And yesterday is the today you'll no longer fear tomorrow. Do not panic. Now count to 1. That makes 10. The fluoride in the water is not turning anything gay. The gay ray guns are a different story. It has been 1,368 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artillian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,369 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail, Artilia. All hail the eyes in the sky. And if you need to choose a gay ray gun, why not choose Brave Che's gay ray guns? They just work for all of your sudden gay needs. I'm your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. A man in Skokie, Illinois has been smiling unfailingly for 841 days. So happy is he that he is now free from the burden of choice. Doctors have given him a 2% chance of survival, as it was determined to not be possible to eat while smiling an unbroken smile. Intravenous calorie replacement therapy was suggested, but rejected by the local Artilian medical officer, as he finds that sort of thing, quote, creepy. After additional debate, the Artilian Division of Human Reproduction has reversed its earlier decision that the average human female breast size should be double E. Females who have already reported to their local inflation centers may now report to their local deflation centers in order to adjust to the newly decreed size, which is a B. This decision was not made arbitrarily. Unless, of course, you take arbitrarily to mean its dictionary definition, in which case this decision was made arbitrarily. On the upside, many of you will save a fortune on bras. For many of you, nothing will change. And for others, you will finally find some relief, gratis. We now take you live inside the core of this continent's latest nuclear reactor, set to provide clean energy for the next 110,000 years. Thanks to our Artilian saviors, we will never have to worry again about keeping the lights on. Douglas Miller is on the scene inside the core. Douglas, tell us what's happening. Douglas was a fine reporter. He will be missed. The word of the day, friends, is obey. Obey was also the word of the day yesterday and the day before that. The word of tomorrow is excitement, which, of course, our Artilian overlords cannot distinguish from the word mayhem. You are listening to Mayhem. The reports of Artilian spacecraft hovering overhead, plucking passers-by from the street, flinging them into the sky, and then playing a sort of meat puppet catch has been greatly exaggerated. While technically true, this story is unflattering, so our Artilian gods would rather we just move on. Had those games of meat puppet catch been played, which they probably weren't, it was just kid stuff that occurred when some adolescent Artilians got their hands on the keys. Fun fact, Artilians remain in the adolescent state for 937 years. Once their adolescent state is completed, they lose a lot of their ambition and mostly take jobs in middle management or at their father's companies. A quick update on the status of the American instruments of government. They still do not exist. And now, some audio from the latest debate on the rights and privileges of human beings on the planet Earth. In keeping with the decree of the Artilian Division of Blemish-Free Human Skin, several of the orbiting Artilian motherships will activate powerful magnets capable of removing tattoo ink, but not capable of removing the iron from blood. We believe. Should blood begin to stream from your pores, just relax and think of something calming, such as anything but the blood streaming from your pores. The Artilian Department of Blemish-Free Human Skin has neglected to specify the time the magnets will be activated. They say that would take the fun out of it. In economic news, the most valuable currency is now the drachma. If you have a multitude of drachmas, you are in luck. If you do not so much. Goods and services can continue to be acquired via the barter system. Exchanging sexual favors for goods and services is not recommended. It is compulsory. No human did anything of note today. However, since that is bad for morale, our Artilian masters have provided the following hypothetical human achievements. Number 1, a human named Jan survived 2 games of meat puppet catch. Number 2, a human named Franklin chose a better name. Number 3, a human named Paula has 1 breast size B and 1 breast size double E. She is one of the lucky ones. Number 4, a human named Stephen robbed a human named Peter to pay a human named Paul. We're unsure of the value of all of this. It seems to have been all over just 2 pounds sterling. We would like to congratulate Douglas on his choice. All of the trees which are determined to be old trees will be replaced by young trees, while all of the trees which are determined to be young trees will be replaced by old trees. Effectively, the volume of old and young trees will remain unchanged, but it is believed that a rebalancing of the trees might improve the weather and temperature. This is, of course, a fallacy, as the temperature and the weather are static and perfect. Those who propose this tree thing have been tried for treason, sentenced, executed, burned, buried, dug up, reanimated, and executed again in the time it took me to say this sentence. Do not question the weather, friends. That road leads to ruin. On this day in human history, 537 AD, the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople is completed. 1811, Luddite uprisings begin in Nottingham, England. 1867, the first performance of John Strauss II's Blue Danube Waltz takes place in Vienna, Austria. 1918, the first case of the Spanish flu is reported at a U.S. Army training camp in Kansas. Why it was called the Spanish flu remains to be anyone's guess. 1959, the Lorraine Hansberry play A Raisin in the Sun opens on Broadway, becoming the first play written by a black woman to be produced on Broadway. It contains no raisins. 2011, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake strikes off the coast of Japan, triggering a massive tsunami that causes widespread destruction and kills over 15,000 people. The Artillians were not testing anything at the time. Now that they have been announced, these events have been wiped from the record of human history as they were not of much importance in the first place. To better balance the volume of the former United States, the city of St. Louis, Missouri has been relocated in its entirety to the top of Northern California. This was accomplished thanks to the awesome, almost inconceivable might of Artillian technology. The entire project was conceived, debated, and executed over the span of a single afternoon one Tuesday last. Every tree, both old and young, was left in place. Power grids, sewers, parks, and malls, all intact. From orbit, the entire continent looked significantly more aesthetically pleasing. There were no human survivors. And now, an AI-written limerick about alien invasion. From outer space came an invasion. Aliens seeking Earth's domination. They landed with a zap and started their attack, but we fought back with all our determination. And now, a better AI-written limerick about alien invasion. From a faraway planet they came. Their spaceships lit up like a flame. They landed on Earth with an invasion of worth and left humanity in a panic quite insane. And now, of long last, an AI-written limerick that is of the quality that one would expect from an all-knowing AI. There was a radio host, quite a pest, who talked louder than all of the rest. He'd rant and he'd rave and could never behave. His voice made his listeners distressed. Touché. The Artillian Division of Male Happiness hereby recommends finding a woman who is both intelligent and consistently all three. If you are unaware of the concept of all three, ask your parents. The Artillian Division of Female Happiness hereby recommends finding a man who is more interested in intelligence than all three. Additionally recommended is a preference for a man who procures flowers, pretty ones, and procures them often, but not too often, not just on special occasions, but also not on a schedule. It's a delicate line to walk, but there are those of us out there who can balance, you know? Incidentally, the parallel criteria for Artillian men seeking Artillian women would be all 7. This is, strictly speaking, moot, as Artillian biology does not include what could reasonably be considered sexes. Artillians do possess secondary sexual characteristics, but to the human eye, they would resemble something akin to the surface of one of the 3 Earth moons. Do not seek out this image. Some things cannot be unseen by human eyes. The Artilian Division of Artilian Human Relations wishes to remind you that while you are, technically, subjects and indentured servants to Artilia, that does not mean we're not all in this together. Let us join hand in hand-like structure and march into a bright new future. You are a vital part of the process, and not only because some of the smaller Artilian craft can be powered by carbon-based intelligent life. Still, those of you who meet your glorious end being fed into the fuel reserves of an Artilian Class 64 speeder, be of good cheer. You are part of the solution. Rumors of our Artilian overlords having what might be described as, quote, wet farts as they walk the streets are, of course, vicious lies designed to foment insurrection and stoke fear. Firstly, Artilians do not walk. They sort of half-hover. It's hard to explain. You just need to see it. Secondly, if Artilians did fart, which they don't, those farts would not be wet. They would be dry. Litter box dry. Dry like a woman at her own mother's funeral. This is pointless, however, as Artilians do not fart. Again, they do not. Similarly, they do not sneeze, burp, or cry. Their various bodily functions cannot be described in any human language, but even if they could be, there would be nothing resembling wet farts. And now, to bring you a further feeling of peace, the sounds of birds. We apologize. The last sounds of birds played were the wrong sounds of birds. Those responsible for this error in audio have been vivisected, and a bill has been sent to their families. Cash on delivery. Now, the correct sound of birds. For those of you who thought those sounds of birds too brief, here is the same audio again, slowed to 3/4 speed, as we do not have a longer clip. And now, your daily reminder that the Artilians, while perfect and complete beings filled with wonder and light, are not in fact capable of controlling the direction of time, regardless of what you have heard. And now, to bring you a further feeling of peace, the sounds of birds. We apologize. The last sounds of birds played were the wrong sounds of birds. Those responsible for this error in audio have been vivisected, and a bill has been sent to their families. Cash on delivery. Now, the correct sound of birds. For those of you who thought those sounds of birds too brief, here is the same audio again, slowed to 3/4 speed, as we do not have a longer clip. We regret to inform you that Brave Che's gay ray guns has gone out of business. They just do not work. All hail Artilia. All hail the eye in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is well. Drink the water. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com. Take a breath, count to 1. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. Count to 8. The future is now, so you can stop waiting. Today is just the yesterday that you will fear tomorrow. Do not panic. All is well. All is well. Do not do any more counting. You don't get 10 today. You're being punished. You know what you did. It has been 1,369 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artilian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,340 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail, Artilia. All hail, the eyes in the sky. We are pleased to inform you that Dave's Pizza and Brave Che's Gay Ray Guns have merged to form the conglomerate NBC, which stands for National Biscuit Company. They are hereby dedicated to providing you with substandard entertainment and better-than-expected biscuits. I'm your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. Close your eyes, friends. Take a deep breath. Let us ruminate together on how we all got here. Where did we come from? Where are we going? Was there nothing before there was something? The Big Bang is the prevailing cosmological model that explains the origin of the universe. It proposes that the universe began as a singularity, an infinitely dense and hot point, approximately 3.8 billion years ago. As the universe expanded rapidly, it cooled, and fundamental particles such as protons and neutrons formed, eventually leading to the formation of atoms. These atoms then clumped together to form stars, galaxies, and everything else in the universe that you see and know today. But how do we know all this? The Big Bang Theory is supported by a wide range of observational evidence, from the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is the afterglow of the Big Bang, to the abundance of light elements such as hydrogen and helium. One of the most important pieces of evidence for the Big Bang is the redshift of light from distant galaxies. When an object moves away from us, the light it emits is stretched out, causing it to shift toward the red end of the spectrum. This is known as redshift, and it was first observed by astronomer Edwin Hubble in the 1920s. By measuring the redshift of light from distant galaxies, scientists have been able to determine that the universe is expanding and that it must have had a beginning. But what happened before the Big Bang? This is a question that scientists are still grappling with. The singularity at the beginning of the universe is not well understood, and it is possible that our current understanding of physics breaks down at that point. Despite these unanswered questions, the Big Bang Theory remains one of the most successful and well-supported scientific theories of all time. It has revolutionized our understanding of the universe and helped us to better appreciate our place in it. The Artilian Division of Scientific Understanding wishes to inform you that the human theory of the beginning of the universe is effectively gibberish. Even the Artilians are not sure how the universe began, though the prevailing theory is that a cosmic hamster named Henry, that's Henery, fell asleep, quite literally, at the wheel, and all of the stored kinetic energy from his wheel was released at once. It was either this or some other unknown thing. Mostly, the Artilian Division of Scientific Understanding wishes to inform you not to worry about it so much. You're slaves now. What difference does it make? And now, 25 seconds of music to make you smile. The word of the day, friends, is excitement. A friendly reminder that the word of yesterday was obey. No word on the word of tomorrow. When word on the word of tomorrow is received, you will be the first to receive word. A sudden reminder, the word of today's excitement, which is indistinguishable from the word mayhem to Artillians. You are listening to Mayhem. Please be aware that any rumors of cannibalism are just that, rumors. There is more than enough food to go around. Despite the dying off of crops and the recent shortages of flavorless gelatinous cubes, everyone has more than enough to eat, even in Siberia, where they have a long history of having food surpluses and not resorting to cannibalism. Any humans engaging in cannibalism are both gross and doing so only because it's their thing and not because they're starving. The Artillian division of food surpluses doesn't allow starvation, even if it is occurring. Starvation is to be ignored and not reported. Should you find yourself in the utterly impossible state of starvation, be a good neighbor. Start with your own calf muscle. A single human did something of note today. His name was Jonas, and he managed to concentrate on the unlikeliness of being so thoroughly that he instantly transported himself from a remote village on the border of Turkey and Syria to the top of the Eiffel Tower. Once there, he sat and had an espresso and a perfectly baked croissant, displaying a surprising lack of fear and perfect table manners, then floated to the ground at a gentle 1.5 miles per hour before blessing those in attendance with long life and prosperity and offering words of wisdom and effortlessly effective proverbs. The Artillian division of Messianic regulations is extremely anxious to see if Jonas is so damn special when he's flung out into the cold vacuum of space. They suspect not. Well done, Jonas, and maybe that'll teach you to be such a show-off. A quick update on the status of the American instruments of government. They did exist for 36 seconds this morning, but that was just a little joke. They no longer exist again. Breathe easy, friends. Order rules. Chaos does not drool, though it might if we put a little elbow grease into it. And now, 31 seconds of music to make you cry. Coming soon to the National Biscuit Company, a hilarious romp through the foibles of parenting, set against the backdrop of an interspecies relationship that is not only frowned upon, but is considered by most a hate crime. Tune into NBC Fridays at 13 o'clock to see what happens next on Artillia is Enough. The National Biscuit Company regrets to inform those who are fans of their biscuits that they no longer make biscuits, pizza, or gay ray guns. They are sticking to entertainment. The money's better, and the biscuit game was getting too political. The Artillian Division of Accuracy and Reporting would like to make clear that an error was made in yesterday's broadcast. This host stated that Artilians were not, despite rumors to the contrary, in control of the direction of time. This occurred directly after several pleasant clips of bird sounds were played. Here's a reminder. And now, to bring you a further feeling of peace, the sounds of birds. We apologize. The last sounds of birds played were the wrong sounds of birds. Those responsible for this error in audio have been vivisected, and a bill has been sent to their families. Cash on delivery. Now, the correct sound of birds. For those of you who thought those sounds of birds too brief, here is the same audio again, slowed to 3/4 speed, as we do not have a longer clip. Immediately following the pleasant sounds of clips of birds, the statement on the Artilian manipulation of time or lack thereof occurred. Immediately after, my Artilian producer, so enraged at my mistake, managed to keep the electronics that broadcast this show moving forward in time, but paused, while rewinding the clips of the birds to the beginning and then replaying it at the same time as unpausing the broadcast, so that to the listener, it seemed as though the bird segment played twice, while here in the studio, I told a marvelous anecdote about my second wife and her world-famous boysenberry pie. This was sort of a Tenet situation, if anyone recalls that film. I seriously doubt it. Either way, try not to think about it too much. Just wipe the blood away from your nose and eyes, and let's get on with our lives. The birds are unstuck in time still. And now, 23 seconds of music to make you afraid. And now, the sounds of most of the cows in Wales. See? The cows in Wales are just fine. Nothing bad happened. Artilians do not mutilate cows. The Artilian Division of Entertainment is excited to announce that they have, in conjunction with the Artilian Division of Reanimation, successfully revived and animated the corpse of Chuck Barris. The process was long and full of terrors, and not without consequences, but the Artilians consider there to be only two worthwhile intellectual properties created by the human race. The first is, of course, the pet rock. The second is the Gong Show, which was the first broadcast that alerted Artilians to humanity's potential. Particularly of interest was the Popsicle Twins episode, which consisted of, you guessed it, two 17-year-old girls luridly sucking on popsicles. That's it. That was their act. That is a true thing that occurred. It is something that NBC, no, not the biscuit company, aired during daytime television in 1977. Really, look it up. Mr. Barris is reportedly not at all enthusiastic to be back and no longer wants to dance or wear any hats. He is, however, learning that it is not a choice. The new Gong Show will air on NBC, yes, that one, starting next week from noon to 9 p.m., 7 days weekly. Tune in, have fun. This is also not a choice. As of 3 p.m. tomorrow, there will be no more orgasms. You've had it too good for too long. Human sexual intercourse will now be a more drab, tragic affair. It is recommended to occur with all lights on. Both parties must wear their socks and at least one other article of clothing. The only acceptable position is missionary. There is no talking, no eye contact, and the proceedings may not last for more than 4 minutes. The Artilian Division of Postmarital Human Sexual Intercourse wishes to inform married couples that they will not be impacted by this change in policy in any way. The Artilian Division of Selecting an Artilian Earth Capital is excited to announce that the Artilian Earth Capital has been selected. The lucky city is also the second smallest city on the planet, Hum, located in the Istrian region of Croatia. Just some of the reasons that Hum was selected. Hum has a population of around 20 people. The town of Hum covers an area of just 0.1 square kilometers, or 0.04 square miles, making it significantly smaller than even many small towns. Hum is known for its well-preserved medieval architecture, including a town gate, a church, and several houses. The town is also famous for its production of biska, a type of brandy made from mistletoe that is traditionally consumed during the winter holidays. According to legend, Hum was found when a giant named Istrian accidentally dropped a large rock while carrying it to build a nearby town. The rock became Hum, and Istrian decided to settle there instead. Every year, on the day of Hum, which falls on the Sunday closest to August 12th, the town hosts a celebration that includes music, dancing, and the traditional tasting of biska. Hum is a popular tourist destination, particularly for visitors interested in history, architecture, and traditional Croatian culture. Artilians may be fans of biska. Congratulations to the 20 residents of the Artilian capital city of Hum. You are, as of this moment, entirely responsible for all human affairs not currently being handled by one of Artilia's division offices. You will receive no additional resources, training, or education, and will be severely punished for failure. We believe in you and wish you luck. The National Biscuit Company regrets to inform those who are fans of their sitcom Artilia is Enough that Artilia is Enough has been canceled. The new Gong Show will now air on NBC 24 hours daily. Chuck Barris has his work cut out for him. NBC will also produce biscuits again, but they are expected to be worse than expected at this juncture. All hail Artilia. All hail the eye in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is well. All hail Chuck Barris. We are still working on Gene the Dancing Machine. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com. Take a breath. Count to 5. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. Subtract 2. The future is now, so you can stop waiting. Tomorrow is just the yesterday that the day after tomorrow does not want to dance with. Do not panic. All is well. All is well. Subtract 3, then add 4, and then 1 more to what remains. That is the same 5 you started with. All of that was a waste of time. Shame on you. It has been 1,370 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artilian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,371 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail, Artilia! All hail, the eyes in the sky. The animated corpse of Chuck Barris is not at all well. I am your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. Fighting today in Malaysia between sparse human resistance forces and hardened Artilian mercenaries at the edge of a bridge just a few miles from the bridge that the bridge on the River Kwai was inspired by. The fighting became intense, and the fresh, ripe fruits of peace were shattered horribly into the preserves of conflict. Initially, the Artilian forces were eager to understand what all of the shouting and gesticulating from the humans was about. It was a little over the top. The Artilian mercenaries invited the human forces to the other side of the bridge for a brief repose consisting of bisca and biscuits. Oh, I just got that. Unfortunately, human forces simply would not listen to reason. At least we believe that's what happened at this time. Artilian forces did not have a translator on hand, so it is possible that from the perspective of the humans, the Artilians were simply half-hovering, not farting, and making guttural sounds, not unlike poorly lubricated engines failing to turn over in their general direction. Okay, now that I say that out loud, I see how that could be petrifying. Suffice it to say that all of the human resistance forces were met in the middle of that bridge, near the bridge that the bridge on the River Kwai was inspired by, and those that had been alive at the start of things are now very not so much alive. Or unalive. Does that sound better? Memorials to the fallen humans will be held never by anyone, and their names will be stricken from history. Good riddance. You almost ruined it for the rest of us. And now in the personal story segment, I would like to finally convey the anecdote about my second wife, Betty, and her marvelous boysenberry pie that was not broadcast when the whole time manipulation bird thing happened. So, there we were, one summer's day, and Betty stood before the French doors in the kitchen. She wore a white and yellow sundress, and her golden hair bobbed in curls, perfectly framing her face. More than boysenberry was in the air that day. It hung heavy with new love. It was at that moment that I decided now to bring you a further feeling of peace. The sounds of birds. We apologize. The last sounds of birds played were the wrong sounds of birds. Those responsible for this error in audio have been vivisected, and a bill has been sent to their families. Cash on delivery. Now, the correct sound of birds. For those of you who thought those sounds of birds too brief, here is the same audio again, slowed to 3/4 speed, as we do not have a longer clip. Hours passed, and eventually we got dressed again, sweat still clinging to our foreheads, and we ate that boysenberry pie she had left on the kitchen island to defrost. Ah, memories, friends. That's what life is built upon. Some French doors, a blonde in a sundress, several hours of intense lovemaking, and a frozen pie. The Artilian Division of Streaming Services regrets to inform you that the following streaming services have been banned, effective immediately. Acorn TV, All Be OK, AMC Plus, Apple TV Plus, BR Live, BET Plus, Boomerang, BritBox, Crunchyroll, DirecTV Stream, Discovery Plus, Epix Now, ESPN Plus, ET Live, Fandango Now, Fox Nation, my favorite, Fubo TV, Hallmark Movies Now, History Vault, Hotstar, Lifetime Movie Club, Motor Trend On Demand, NBC Sports Gold, Noggin, Philo TV, Pluto TV, Prende TV, Rooster Teeth, Showtime, Shudder, Sling TV, Smithsonian Channel, Sports Live, Stars, Sundance Now, Tubi TV, Univision Now, really? Zumo, and YouTube TV. NBC Plus Now Plus, a service that streams both substandard entertainment directly to your device and mostly edible biscuits directly to your stomach pre-digested, is still available, extremely costly, and required for all humans. Enjoy episodes of the new Gong Show around the clock. Watch the corpse of Chuck Barris struggle to maintain and mostly fail. Fun for the whole family. Well, not so much fun as sort of pitiful and hard to watch. Unless, of course, pitiful and hard to watch is your family's thing, in which case it's fun for the whole family. As per usual, no humans did anything of note today, besides me, your humble host, who has tolerated your backbiting and lack of faith for longer than anyone would consider reasonable. Given this, I am pleased to announce that our Artillian lords have awarded me, your humble host, the Artillian Medal of the Order of Not Being Quite Incredible Enough to be an Artillian, but almost. But still human in spite of everything. This is the highest honor Artillians can or will bestow upon humans. It is accompanied by a number of extraordinary rights and privileges, but you don't have to worry about the details too much. For you, this will never come up. The word of the day, friends, is a closely guarded secret. I don't know, so I can't tell you. It is my understanding that the word of the day had been written on a piece of paper and locked in a safe inside a vault, inside another vault, inside of Fort Knox, which is either the most secure place in the former United States or isn't. I can't recall. Either way, the combination to the safe and one of the vaults was lost, so the word of today is gone forever. That little anecdote certainly stirred a lot of excitement. Now say it with me. You are listening to Mayhem. The Artillian division of focusing on the family and anything that would offend the family is proud to announce new censorship guidelines and requirements. Bad words are, as a general rule, bad, and will therefore no longer be permitted or tolerated. All profane, obscene, rude, blue, lewd, lascivious, and vile language will henceforth be censored in all print, audio, and visual media. Additionally, while you were sleeping, sensor units were installed directly into the back of your throats. Really, they came in while you were sleeping and did it without waking you up. Think about that for a second. Think about it. Thanks to this Artillian censorship technology, now even person-to-person communication will be effectively censored. So, for instance, were you to be in a heated conversation with someone and wish to say to them, "You sucking son of a piece of monkey shit," you wouldn't know the right way to sit on a motherfucking toilet seat, and even if a brained dog like you somehow managed it, you'd be too much of a to remember how to use it, you shit. You could not, no matter how hard you tried. In fact, the harder you tried, the louder the beeps emanating from your throat would become. But don't take my word for it, comrades. Give it a shot. Should you also lose bladder control while attempting to curse, well, that's just a coincidence. Or is it? Additionally censored will be balls, tip, douche, home, and piss. And now, let's check in on those Welsh cows one more time. Yep, still fine. Please be aware that those people around you who previously burst into flames and have now had their clothing and viscera restored before your very eyes should be ignored and not approached. It all happened due to an unfortunate clerical error. It's just one of those things that happen when the list of humans due to be summarily incinerated, wherever they happen to be standing at the time, is mixed up with the list of humans due to be issued puppies for their good works. The Artillean Division of Accidental Incinerations wishes to offer condolences, but not apologies. The Artillean Division of Accidental Incinerations does not make mistakes. What would they be apologizing for? Should any humans wish to file a complaint, they may do so to the AI knowledge assistant installed in their master closet. This is an action they will soon regret. Of late, there have been questions about Artillean contact with humanity before their invasion and subjugation 1,340 days ago. The Artillean Division of Whether or Not That's Your Business at first wished to inform you that was none of your business, but has since reversed its decision and has decided to sort of answer the question. There have been several reported incidents of supposed UFO crashes throughout history. Here are some of the most well-known. Roswell. In July 1947, an object crashed near Roswell, New Mexico, which was initially believed to be a UFO. The U.S. military later claimed it was a weather balloon, but many people doubt this. Kecksburg. December 1965, a metallic object crashed in the woods near Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. Many witnesses reported seeing a strange object being transported away by the military. Aztec. March 1948, an alleged UFO crash near Aztec, New Mexico. Witnesses claimed that the military recovered wreckage and alien bodies, although the incident has been widely debunked. Shag Harbor, October 1967. A bright object crashed into the waters near Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia. The military conducted a search but found nothing, and the incident remains a mystery. Varginha, January 1996. Alleged extraterrestrial beings were supposedly recovered alive or dead from a crashed UFO in Varginha, Brazil. This incident is still debated and disputed. 3 of these incidents were directly related in some way to Artillean activity. 2 of them were just drunks misunderstanding the world around them. The Artillean Division of Whether or Not That's Your Business wishes to make it known that which event is which is none of your business. They will, however, say, in regard to the Roswell incident and humanity's fear of aliens probing them, those in glass houses should not throw stones. In mathematics news, the Riemann hypothesis, one of the most important unsolved problems in mathematics, has been solved. The Riemann hypothesis is a conjecture about the distribution of prime numbers among all positive integers and was first proposed by the German mathematician Bernhard Riemann in 1859. The Riemann hypothesis states that all non-trivial zeros in the Riemann zeta function lie in a straight line in the complex plane, with the real part equal to 1/2. The Riemann zeta function is a complex function that is designed as the sum of the reciprocals of all positive integers raised to a given power. The significance of the Riemann hypothesis lies in its connections to many other areas of mathematics, including number theory, algebraic geometry, and analysis. It has important implications for the distribution of prime numbers, and its proof leads to significant advances in these areas. Congratulations to any of you that followed that. This host was strongly opposed to the inclusion of that background information given the median intelligence quotient of this show's audience, but I was, ladies and gentlemen, overruled. Despite over a century and a half of effort by some of the greatest mathematicians in history, the Riemann hypothesis remained unsolved until earlier this afternoon, when it was solved by an Artillean infant. The solution to the Riemann hypothesis is both yes and 17. Simple as that. How does that make you feel after all this time? It has been one of the 7 Millennium Prize problems, a set of important mathematical problems that were identified by the Clay Mathematics Institute in 2000. Congratulations to the Artillean infant, whose name cannot be uttered by the human mouth. This host wishes to comment on a supposed mistake many of you claim was made during our last episode, in which this was uttered. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artillean extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,340 days ago. It was pointed out by a number of busybodies that the correct number of days was 1,370, not 1,340. and said busybodies had the audacity to claim this was an error. There are no errors, ladies and gentlemen. There are no errors, mistakes, issues, misapprehensions, or bloopers. Artillians do not make mistakes. I do not make mistakes. The only ones in this equation capable of making mistakes are you. This was both a test of your listening acumen and an example of just how little you can trust your stupid lying ears. So thank you for the feedback. When you arrive home, your home will no longer be there and will be replaced by a suspiciously familiar pile of smoldering tinder. Thank you for your attention and your service. You may think you've already been punished. You are mistaken. And finally, friends, the Artillian Division of Precision and Song Titles is eager to understand why that Steve Miller Band song is not called Space Cowboy. Shout your answers out of your open windows at dawn. All hail, Artillia. All hail, the eyes in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is well. All hail, Chuck Barris. There are no mistakes. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com. The Artillian Division of whether or not that's your business wishes to The Artillian Division of whether or not that's your business wishes to make it known that which event is which is none of your business. They will, however, say in regard to the Roswell incident. They will, however, say in regard to the Roswell incident. They will, however, say in regards. Oh my God. They will, however, say in regard to the Roswell incident. They will, however, say, in regard to the Roswell incident and humanity's fear of aliens probing them, those in glass houses should not throw stones. Take a breath. Count backward from 10. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. The hypnotics and paralytics will take effect momentarily, and you will slip calmly into a dreamless sleep. It's the good too. Fentanyl and Versed. You'll feel pretty high for a few seconds. You are welcome. Be sure to wave on your way around the moon. One of them, at least. Do not panic. All is well. All is well. Settle into that bathtub full of ice and ask yourself, really ask, how often do you use your liver anyway? This reference to the Cuppinator won't make sense now, but it will in 10 minutes or so. Oh, the suspense is killing me. It has been 1,341 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artillian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,342 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11 and a half minutes. All hail, Artillia. All hail the eyes in the sky. All hail Donald Duck, vaudeville, and variety. All hail strawberry jam and all the different varieties. All hail Mrs. Mop and good old Mother Riley. We are the Desperate Dan Appreciation Society. All hail Fu Manchu, Moriarty, and Dracula. I'm your host, Landon Harker, and I'm just here to breakdance and Here's how good you have it today. The word of the day, friends, is obey. 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 Additionally, the word of the day yesterday has been liberated from that safe at Fort Knox. Barry finally remembered the combinations. Oh, Barry. For completionists, the word of the day yesterday, which was temporarily lost forever inside of Fort Knox, was mislaid. Again, the word of today is obey, not irony. Our Artillian masters are not capable of understanding the concept of irony, not unlike the difference between excitement and mayhem. You are listening to Mayhem. Also not capable of understanding the concept of irony, Alanis Morissette. And despite the Artillian lack of ironic understanding, that is that they don't understand irony, not that their understanding itself is not ironic, were an Artillian to experience rain on their wedding day, they would understand it to be an unfortunate coincidence, which it is, but not ironic, which it is not. The concept of rain and weddings have no inherent relationship, and it is, therefore, not ironic for rain to occur on your wedding day. It's just a shame. For you. Your guests didn't want to come anyway. Trust me, none of them. Not even your mother. Fires and fire stations are, however, related. A truly ironic situation would be something like a fire station burning down and the fires consuming the hoses first. Oh, they just have to stand there and look at it, wouldn't they? Also related to fire is how burned up this host remains about Alanis Morissette's writing. Or what could be charitably called writing, if one chooses to be charitable. I do not. Yes, after all these years, I'm still pissed the off. I won't say she will now be punished given my position of power, but I won't not say that either. Suffice it to say, should some unfortunate accident befall Mrs. Dave Coulier, I, your humble host, had nothing to do with it. We regret to inform you that man in Skokie, Illinois, who had been smiling unfailingly for 843 days, so happy was he that he was free from the burden of choice, has died. Doctors had given him a 2% chance of survival, and it appears that his chance of survival was even slightly lower than 2%. It was closer to 0. Much closer. It was exactly 0. Let me tell you, comrades, that our Artillian overlords are not without care for those sympathetic to the Artillian cause. The man from Skokie, Illinois will be honored with an Artillian ceremony whose name cannot be spoken by the human mouth, but when translated from Artillian to French to English is said something like a pandering, sarcastic ceremony of fun good time. Fun good time, indeed. Godspeed and salute to you, the former human in Skokie, Illinois. You were a hero and one of the special ones. And now, I won't mind saying that I am extremely excited for our next segment. It is an interview with a man that you either knew and loved or have come to know and love, as knowing and loving him is currently compulsory. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, please welcome to the program the animated corpse of Chuck Barris. Chuck, thank you for taking time out of your demanding schedule. Now that is the sound of a man hard at work. Tell me, what is your favorite part of the resurrection? Both yourself and the new Gong Show. I see. Yes. Would you say that it's great to be back on Earth during such an exciting time?
Well, it's an interesting question,
Tell me, Chuck, how did you have the idea for the Gong Show originally?
I was angry at the time. I checked into the to the Wyndham Hotel, which is on 60 something street. Yes, in New York, and it's just behind Rumpelmeyer's or the Park Sheraton, and
Fascinating. And lastly, Chuck, I apologize because I know you get this question constantly, even before you were nothing more than a reanimated corpse ripped back to this life from the calm, eternal slumber. Were you really a contract agent for the Central Intelligence Agency at the same time you were producing the dating game?
Well, I don't answer that question ever, and I can just tell you that the number 2 guy in the CIA said, in answer to reporters asking that question, that I must have been standing too close to the gong when I say things like that. But still, I'll never say one way or the other.
Well, I have to say, that was an extremely lucid, if not disappointingly vague answer. Thank you so much for your time, Chuck. We cannot wait to see what you do next. The Artillean Division of Human Instruments of Governments wishes to inform you that the French instruments of government will remain intact in perpetuity. The French are an outlier within the Artillean concept of Earth, and they enjoy the pomp and circumstance of how the French do things there. The Artilleans had hoped to arrive on Earth for their subjugation prior to the Revolution to inquire of Marie Antoinette how her little head supported those hats. But they got lost around Zeta Reticuli, and that added a few hundred years to the trip. Nevertheless, the Artilleans still like the cut of France's jib. That being said, the following positions of power in the French government have been eliminated, effective immediately: the President, the Prime Minister, Ministers of Parliament, the Senate, the National Assembly, and the Constitutional Council. The French government will now be overseen in its entirety by a body of French government this host cannot pronounce. It sounds kind of like Conseil d'État or something like that. Regardless, the Artilleans still love the art, music, language, smoking from a young age, and France's long history of eating good cheese, having bad sex, and surrendering almost immediately. And now, to give you a further feeling of peace, the sounds of crickets in a meadow. That was nice to hear, friends. I'm sure that you, like me, have missed the subduing rhythm of that sound ever since all of the crickets exploded. Yes, all of them. Every single one. At the same time. Even the ones children were studying in their palms. It was quite a mess, and there was crying. Sure is unfortunate that they all decided to explode in unison for no discernible reason. Let's hear that one more time. Wonderful. As per the orders of the Artillean Division of Blemish-Free Human Skin, several of the orbiting Artillean motherships activated powerful magnets capable of removing tattoo ink, but not capable of removing the iron from blood yesterday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It came as a surprise to few that those magnets were indeed capable of removing the iron from blood. But not just the iron. It was the iron plus the red and white blood cells. Or blood. That's probably the easiest way to say that. The Artillean Division of Blemish-Free Human Skin wishes to inform you that they regret this unfortunate incident, wish you all a speedy recovery, and thank you for your involuntary donation. On an unrelated topic, the Artilian Division of Human Male Reproduction is interested in studying the varying potencies of male human semen and has spent considerable time of late on R&D for powerful suction cups. I'm not here to force any action on your part, fellas, but I will say that I have begun wearing a steel-reinforced cup 24 hours a day. Incidentally, my new business venture, the Cuppinator, is now for sale on my website, cuppinator.com, for all of your steel cup needs. Told you. The producers of this show wish to apologize to Pete Quaife, Dave Davies, Ray Davies, and Mick Avery, collectively the founding members of the Kinks, for lifting large portions of their song, The Village Green Appreciation Society, for use in the introduction of today's episode. I, however, will not issue that apology and do not feel the need to apologize. Firstly, it's a tribute to the world's second greatest band after Talking Heads, of course. And secondly, there is no such thing as copyright anymore after the establishment of the Artilian Division of removing all copyrights because they are annoying. If, for argument's sake, copyright did still exist, this statement would effectively satirize the use of the song's lyrics within the context of a comment on the foibles of copyright, effectively making it fair use. So there. But copyright doesn't exist, so it's moot. I apologize for nothing, and I feel great about my choices. I do not fear the Davies brothers. We are pleased to inform you that things are going wonderfully in the Artilian capital city of Hum. Ladies and gentlemen, better than expected, even at this early stage. Thus far, despite the crushing, almost inconceivable pressure of running a world government despite only 10 minutes' notice, there has been only one suicide and 2 nervous breakdowns. So not too bad. Granted, there are only 20 residents in Hum, so that skews the statistics a bit. Well, there were 20. 19 now. But still, so far, the world government in the capital city of Hum has issued the following executive and legislative orders. The Artilian capital city of Hum orders that double E breast thing is back on again. The Artilian capital city of Hum orders that more people who know a lot about running governments must relocate to Hum immediately. The Artilian capital city of Hum orders that Artilians must reserve half of the biscuit supply for local residents, particularly until people who know a lot about running governments arrive. The Artilian capital city of Hum orders that the Croatian city of Hum is no longer the Artilian capital city of Hum. So ordered. It came as a surprise to virtually no one that the Artilian division of actual government struck down each of these orders as soon as they were issued, and residents of Hum were punished with a biscuit prohibition and literal slaps on the wrist, courtesy of the hand-like structures of the local Artilian overseer. It hurt. Trust me. Now that is a real shame and you hate to see it, but maybe it will teach them a lesson. Questions have been asked of this host and program vis-a-vis the Artilian physicality. And while those of us who have been blessed with assisting our beautiful Artilian overlords to better this planet are in contact with them regularly, I understand that many of you in less central areas may have never encountered or even seen an Artilian. Perhaps you've heard stories, rumors, tall tales. Oh, and I didn't mean tall tales as a synonym for rumors. I meant it's been said that Artilians have tall tales. But this is a tall tale. Get it? Let's all get on the same page, brothers and sisters. What do we know so far? Artilians have 2 finger-like digits and 3 finger-like digits, respectively, on 2 hand-like structures. Artilians sort of half-hover to get around. Artilians never have or make any sounds that could reasonably be understood as wet farts. Artilians do not have tall tails. Additionally, Artilians are not exactly humanoid, not exactly reptilian, and not exactly like a mollusk in physical appearance. And yet they are exactly like all of those things as well. Okay, brass tacks. It's sort of like trying to explain why time is relative to the observer to someone. You'll go on and on and on until you run out of nouns, and you can see that they sort of comprehend it, but you know that when they walk away, most of their understanding will be gone in 10 to 12 seconds. Unfortunately, photographing, videotaping, or even sketching an Artillian is a capital crime, so I'm afraid that the above description is about the best I or anyone else can provide. But relax, dear listener. Artillians are wonderful and beautiful, and that's really all you need to know. All hail, Artillia. All hail the eyes in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is so well. All hail, Chuck Barris. Watch your ass, Alanis. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com.
I was angry at the time. I checked into the Wyndham Hotel, which is on 60 something street. Yes, in New York, and it's just behind Rumpelmeyer's or the Park Sheraton.